to Goat Island. I'm your host, the Big Ka Huzzi, and this is your weekly sports. First in, there's no Iron Team. Time for team sports. Oh, and our football goats, LFC, have officially announced the first of their pre-season fixtures, starting off with Liverpool facing Preston North End in an away match on the 13th of July. And this week's reason why the Reds are the GOATs is one of the more recent ones, because they finally shut up Manchester United going on about the most titles in history. And now the league doesn't have to hear this bullshit from the Red Devils anymore. And think about it. If Liverpool didn't win this season, then despite United having one of the worst seasons in history and not winning in any league when it mattered, they still would have said, but we have the most English titles though. And now they're gone. Thanks to the GOATs. Switching to rugby. Unfortunately, the City Boys, the Stormers, will only return to action again on the 26th of September after being knocked out in the URC quarterfinals, meaning that's almost 4 months without the boys. But some of them will be keeping busy during the international rugby return in between seasons. Lower on the map, the Auckland Blues face the Chiefs this weekend in the Super Rugby quarterfinals, and the Blues got it done. You thought last season was a fluke? Nope. And that means our boys are onto the semis this week against the Crusaders. And we're obviously sticking with our GOATs, the Blues, to win the Friday matchup. Just a little bit over in the NRL, the Brisbane Broncos took on the Gold Coast Titans on Saturday, and for once the Broncos got it done. And not just. They beat the Titans 44-14. Whew! Wait, you didn't think we'd move on from team sports before addressing our favorite rivals, right? Well, to all those watching, please remember, no matter how bad your week is going, no matter how difficult life gets, at least you're not a Man United fan. And if you are, well, I don't know what to tell you, but life's not going to get any better, my guy. Enough of the group activities. This is Fight Club, and that means we're talking combat sports. In the lesser of the two combat sports, it's boxing, and it really says a lot about the state of boxing that a former heavyweight champion that arguably took place in the greatest trilogy in boxing against one Tyson Fury is fighting this month, and yet Jake Paul still has the most hype fight. Like, what the fuck? It just feels like at this point, if it's not related to WHAAAAT season or influences, that boxing is dead. Uncle Dana needs to hurry up and fix the sport, for fuck's sake. This week we're predicting the Wilder versus Hendon fight. And honestly, is it even a question? We're going with the Bronze Bomber within 6 rounds. I know he's been outclassed at elite level, but they still gotta stop feeding him tomato cans, man. It's time to focus on MMA as we leave the squared ring and look to the octagon. Next week, we won't be going over the results of the upcoming Usman Buckley fight card, but we will make our picks for the main event and co-main event, starting with Thug Rose versus Miranda Maverick. And I think people are overlooking Maverick just because she's the lesser known of the two. But I have to say, man, she's had more of her fights inside the UFC than out, and all of her losses are by decision. Meanwhile, Rose has been knocked out and tapped out. So for this one, unfortunately, we think Rose is done, and we're picking the young fighter in Miranda via sub inside 2 rounds. Then it's on to the main event, and this is kind of tricky because Usman is on a 3-fight losing streak, but it's not like the last 2 weren't close, and the first of these was him fighting the champion at the time, Leon Rocky Edwards, and then taking on the next title challenger at 185, Khamzat Chimaev. And that fight wasn't even at his weight class. This combined with the fact that Buckley has been on a 6-fight win streak, and only 2 of those were by decision, the rest all KO or TKOs. As much as Usman is elite, time comes for everyone, and with that, we're picking Buckley, and we think this is going to be the nail in Usman's coffin, so we're calling for a second round TKO by Joaquin Buckley to put the Nigerian nightmare to rest for good. Now, obviously, this weekend was UFC 316, and let's talk about what happened, man. Just like we said, Kevin the Won't Shut Up Holland beat Vicente Luque with a second round sub. Then, unfortunately, we got it wrong for the remaining 2 fights on the undercard, with Patchy Mix losing to Mario Batista with a unanimous decision, and Calvin Gastelum being defeated by Joe Pyfer, also by unanimous decision. But guess what? When it comes to the co-main event and main event, we got it so right, it was almost left. For the women's bantamweight title fight, we called it that Kayla would win via sub within 3 rounds, and the Olympian defeated Juliana Pena in the second round by submission with a Kimura lock. And new. We told you so. Now this sets up the Amanda Nunes fight next, with the champ taking on the GOAT. If you watched our picks, this wasn't a prediction. This was a spoiler. In the main event, we said it would be Merab winning in the rematch with Sugar Sean within 4 rounds via submission. And the Georgian got O'Malley out of there just before the 3rd round ended, choking the former champ out to successfully defend his belt with the sub. And still, we might have missed the mark on the Bilal fight, but other than that, our main event picks have been perfect. Fuck my bookie, fuck steak. If you want to know who's going to win, just watch Goat Island. Damn it. The UFC is a 3-lettered acronym, and what other company is also? The WWE. So let's talk wrestling, brother. And this week, Seth Rollins just said, fuck it. One show isn't enough. It's not Monday Night Rollins. It's every night Rollins. As he went from Raw to SmackDown to Money in the Bank, Jay kept on yelling on Mondays, but he's got his hands full dealing with Seth and the boys on Raw and having to deal with Cena and Paul on SmackDown. But Cena and Paul delivered as promised on Friday night. And then we can't forget this weekend's Money in the Bank PLE, which was a hit, but we can't act like we're not missing Roman Reigns. Forever our tribal chief. That being said, WWE gets a 7.5 from us for this last week. Pretty good, not gonna lie. There is only one more big date left this month for the WWE, and this is of course Night of Champions on the last weekend of June. And honestly, how is it going to outdo this past Money in the Bank PLE? Talking about Money in the Bank, as we mentioned it in this week's ratings, it happened, so let's get to the results. We didn't call this, but Dirty Dom took on Octagon Jr. and obviously won to retain his Intercontinental title. And still, viva la raza. He lies, he cheats, he steals, but most importantly, he wins. Next, for the Women's Intercontinental title, Becky Lynch took on the champ Lyra Valkyria. And didn't we tell you that WWE would be stupid to make the same mistake twice? Well, they didn't, because Big Time Bex beat Valkyria in an all-Irish fight to get yet another championship added to her collection. And new, the man, Becky Lynch, is your women's intercontinental champion. Then, for the super unnecessary tag team match that they somehow got us hyped for, unfortunately we got it wrong for John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, because we thought the bad guys would win, but instead, R-Truth returned to cost Cena and Paul the match by attacking the WWE champion, with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes taking advantage and hitting Big Match John with a crossroads, then pinning the champ to win the match. All we can say is, yay. We also made our pick for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and we said that it would be Naomi, and surprise, surprise, we were right. Well deserved, long overdue, and it feels so right. Naomi is your women's Money in the Bank winner and now holds the briefcase that grants her a title match at any time. It's looking like she might finally get that title run. And the main event was, of course, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and Karrion Kross was not a part of the match, nor did Roman Reigns return. And under these conditions, we called it that the winner would be the one and only Seth frickin' Rollins. And what do you know? We were so on the money, it's like we were in the bank, no pun intended. The Visionary is now the holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase, which almost guarantees him winning one of the world titles soon. And let's not forget that Seth has not only successfully cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase before, but has had the best cash in of all time. Also, we had Jacob Fatu finally turning on Solo to cost him the match, because I hate you, Solo. Yeah, what I mean. In case you didn't notice, that means that only 1 week into June, and we went 3 for 5 with UFC 316, and we had 3 out of 4 picks right for WWE's Money in the Bank, making it a 6 for 9 weekend for TKO as a whole. And look, that might not seem impressive, but we've already got 66.6% accuracy, and the month is just getting started. Outside of WWE, AEW just keeps on sucking with yet another AEW wrestler jumping ship and debuting in the WWE. Just goes to show, the washed up wrestlers go to AEW to retire, and the young wrestlers use AEW like training wheels. Shame, Tony. Not even MJF is enough to keep your show together anymore. You say you want change, but your habits say nah. You need tough love and then some protein powder. Get serious. Ka Huzzi says so. Struggling to lose weight? Well, your metabolism isn't broken. It's just tired of Uber Eats. Being grown doesn't mean growing sideways. Move daily, eat protein, walk like your knees still work, and not getting the gains you want. Well, muscle is momentum. You don't need a miracle, just movement. You won't lift your life until you start lifting anything. Cull through crisis, press through pain. Time really slipping away, or are you throwing it away? Late night partying equals early mornings wasted. Turn your calendar into a disciplined playlist. No more recovering all week from one weekend. This isn't toxic positivity. This is toxic productivity. Cry and train. Doubt and plan. Fail and show up anyway. You were built for more. Now act like it. And that's a wrap for this week's sports drop. You should probably, like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts, drop a comment. And from Goat Island, this is the Big Ka Huzzi. We'll check you again.